So we recently did a backyard remodel and we actually put in some new lawn. And that meant we had to go out and buy a couple of tools. And I decided to go electric. So if you remember, I've made a video in the past about the Ego power tools. I had the Hedge trimmer and the leaf blower, and I've loved those two items. And I thought, well, I'd go ahead and try out their lawnmower and their weed whacker edge trimmer. And I've been using it for about a month now, and I gotta say I absolutely love it. I went ahead with the self-propelled model. It still has the plastic construction for the body, and this is the aluminum shaft. They make a more expensive version that has a carbon fiber shaft. I thought this would be fine. And other than that, this came with a 7-amp battery. This came with a 2.5-amp battery. So now I have 4 batteries, 4 devices. I should be able to do anything all day, have my gardeners use any tools I have, and never have any problems. So why don't we just go ahead and cut? I'm gonna go ahead and get the mulcher attachment hooked up, and I'll run over the grass with the mulching and see how that works. All right, let's get started. Okay, so this is the mulcher attachment. So the first thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and unfold this thing, and you can see how compact it folds up, and I just love that about it. So let's see here, how do I, okay, so I lift this lever here, which brings the handle down, and it locks again in that position. Then I can open up these two and pull the arm out to full adjustment and lock that in. And last thing is, let's go ahead and put in the mulcher insert. Just like that, easy. The main reason why I got an electric one is because I didn't want to have to fuss around with gas and it not working and cleaning carburetors. I wanted to be able to pull a trigger and it always work. And so for this device, and you'll hear it too, I have my mic right here, by the way, so you're gonna hear how loud this is. It's really quiet. And I'm gonna go ahead and just mow it, and we'll maybe throw in some overlay talking clips over it. So here we go. So the first thing you do is you push this green button down, and then you pull the handle. And again, this is a self-propelled model, which means that I can push that up and it'll drive itself. Button down, handle up, and it didn't work because I don't have my battery. And just for a quick size comparison, this is the 2-amp battery, 2.5 amp, and this is the 4-amp battery. What's cool is all their tools use all their batteries, but for this, let's go ahead and run the big battery. There's a little door up on top. You just slide the battery in, you hear the click, and that's it. Now I'm gonna try talking and let's see how I come out, because I'm really not sure if you can hear me over the motor, but it is super quiet. So you heard, I'm not going to change the audio levels in this video. I'm going to try to give you a good idea of how loud it is. It is super quiet. And I don't know if you could tell, but when I lifted the wheels like this to turn, the mulching action wasn't very good and it dropped some blades on the ground, but I was able to just run over it again. And that kind of pressure system of the blades just pulls in everything and cuts it over and over again. And I'm looking at the grass, it's looking pretty good. I'm going to keep going and let's see how it turns out. You gotta love that starting system. I'm seeing some blades of grass that weren't cut very well here, so I'm gonna just give it another pass. And I got some leaves, and I'm actually figuring out the strategy here. There's like a suction effect that happens as long as the base is on the grass, and the vacuum will keep that air. But the minute you go and do this, which The reason why I'm doing that is because this is pretty new grass. It's less than 2 months old. And I didn't want it to pull it out by the root by turning too sharply on these big wheels. So I was trying that, but you know what? This grass is looking pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep that bed of the lawnmower well planted. And you can see as long as I do that, it's not really a problem. So, lesson learned. So I just finished up and the grass is looking really good. I did mulch and I can't really even tell that I did. It's looking really nice and I'm happy with it. It seems to be mulching pretty well. Again, don't lift it up and break the seal. As long as you don't, then I think it turns out pretty good. There's a height adjustment right here. The battery goes in here. There's actually an LED headlight, I think, which I'm not sure if it detects night. Oh no, there's a button right here. So there's the headlight. I don't know if you can tell, but this thing is so quiet, you can mow your lawn early in the morning or at night and nobody will even know because it's so quiet. I was able to hear myself talk over this thing and I love that about it. So this is the Ego Power. It has a 56 volt system, battery system, which is really the reason why I got it. For something like this, I think a high voltage system is good. And the power is sufficient and ample, and it worked fantastic. So let's go ahead and switch it up, and I'll finish this with the trimmer, and then we'll do our conclusion. Okay, now I could use that same battery. Hey Mika, I can use the same battery in this, but this thing uses so much less wattage that I can use the small 2.5 amp battery. Locks into place. And with this, I just have two triggers. This one is the first safety switch, and then this one actually has kind of a tactile feedback to it, which the harder you push it, the faster it'll spin. So let's go ahead and see what we can do. So, around a battery on this one. I hadn't charged them. I wasn't really that prepared, but I'm going to go ahead and grab my other battery and throw this in the charger. And don't worry, I'll talk about that at the end. By the way, this is the sound of the charger. Now, if you hear that fan, it's because this charges this huge battery in about 20 to 30 minutes, which is amazing. And as a result, there's a lot of heat generated, and those fans keep it all safe and help prolong the life of the battery. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much done here. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. Okay, so I just finished mowing my lawn for maybe the third time with my new lawnmower, and I have used the trimmer twice as well. And looking at the result, it looks pretty fantastic. The lawnmower is awesome. The trimmer, I admit I don't really think I know how to use it all that well. The results are good. The performance is good. Yeah, it's really convenient. You can just push down. The reel extends. There's a little cutter blade, and so if it's too long, it'll cut it to the right size. It all is on the same battery technology. The life is great. They charge really quickly. By the way, I mentioned the batteries charge so quickly that the charger has a huge fan, and you can hear it kick on, and it keeps the batteries cool as it's putting in so much current into them, and it charges them really quick. So you have to ask yourself if the battery technology is ready for prime time. And I gotta say the answer to that is absolutely. The reason I bought this lawnmower was originally because I was at my parents' house, and my dad, who's had his gas mower for about a year, went to use it for the 6th or 7th time after a couple of months of not using it, and it wouldn't turn on. And he had to take it to a shop, and they had to clean out the carburetor, and he didn't really empty the gas and the oil, and It's a whole thing, and I just don't like that. I like my tools, like I have a table saw that I hit the button, it turns on every day. It requires no maintenance, it just works. It has an electric motor. I love electric motors, and the problem's always been the battery aspect of it. And again, this lawnmower is about $500, and the Hedge trimmer is about 160. So they're not that cheap, especially considering a new gas mower might be about $200. But if you're worried about the price, well, there are models of the Ego that don't come with a battery. So if you already have a couple of pieces, then you're okay. Otherwise, you could buy the 4-amp battery that isn't self-propelled. To be honest, in that little demo that I ran, I barely even used the self-propel feature. But I figured if somebody else is ever going to mow the lawn, it might be nice to have. But there's some ways you can save money there. There's also the Ryobi 1 Plus line, which is a 40-volt system, I believe, and I think it's quite a bit cheaper. It's about $300. If you go to Lowe's, they have the Cobalt series, which is also really good. It has a steel deck instead of a plastic deck like mine, and they're supposed to be really good as well. The point is, it doesn't really matter which one you buy, but make sure you have a high voltage system. 40, which is what the Ryobi is using, should be a minimum, and really anything higher the better. The analogy would be to water in a pipe. The current is like the size of the pipe, and the voltage is like the speed of the water. And between the two, you get more water, more energy. But a higher voltage system is just going to work better. It'll deliver power better, and that's really the kind of the key. Now, once you do pick a tool, I would also recommend just sticking with that tool and buying them all in the same line, so the batteries are swappable and they're all kind of interplay. Like for example, you notice that I didn't charge the line trimmer, but I was able to still go in and grab another battery that I had charged and throw it right in and finish what I was doing. So that's probably really more important than anything else. So by the way, I mentioned that I just finished renovating my backyard, and I put in grass. So my house had no grass before, and this is pretty awesome. My dogs love it, my son loves it, my wife loves it, and it's been great. And we live in San Diego, where I thought it'd be really hard to keep a lawn alive and the water bill would be really high, but it's been great. I actually went with a hybrid Bermuda. Leave a comment if you want me to follow up on a video about my grass choice and all of that. But here's a quality of how the lawnmower did. You can see it's really quite good. And there are some places where it's patchy, but that's not the lawnmower, that's actually the ground not really being well prepped before the sod was installed. So what I'm probably going to do is, I heard you can use some sand to kind of fill in and help give some structure to raise it up and kind of even things out. So I'll probably end up doing that. But as you can see, guys, it looks pretty dang good. And I'm really happy with it. One thing I did, so this is a Bermuda, which is supposed to be cut pretty short. But what I did when I first ran it is I ran it too short, and I actually scalped the lawn. You can see that here, kind of in this area. So I have my setting on 3 right now, but I had it on 2, and that was just too low. It actually scalped my lawn. Now, one of the things about Bermuda is it's supposed to be really resilient, so I'm hoping it comes right back, and I can tell you it is. I can see a lot of little buds here coming right back through. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks that will recover and I'll be back in business. And I think the only issue that I had is this one piece of sod right here. That's about the size of the piece. This one piece right here, just, I mean, it's not dead or anything, but it just hasn't really been growing. And it's just kind of, you can tell that it's taller all around it. Now, if I went to cut this to this height, I'd probably start having that scalping problem again. So I'll leave it alone. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I think the answer is, if you really want to have a no fuss experience, you got to go battery powered, or even corded. But I really recommend these battery powered ones, and I think you'll love them. So yeah, leave us a comment, and again, let me know if you want me to talk about my backyard remodel. I had done a lot of work back here, cleared out a bunch of land, built a patio and a stamped concrete floor, put in grass, and I'd be happy to share that with you guys if you're interested. So leave us a comment and I will follow up. But that's it. That'll do it for us, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.